Disney's had a tough time in recent years overspending on a lot of their movies that have been grossly underperforming at the box office. It's been such a problem that CEO Bob Iger had to address it in their last earnings call, and even admitting that they need to focus on the quality of the productions instead of just the simple quantity, and that they need to cut costs too. And now we get news like this coming out after what he said. Initial costs for Rachel Zegler's Snow White film are already shockingly high. A new report details that the initial costs for the Walt Disney Company's live-action Snow White film starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot came in at $209.3 million. So that's not a low budget, but this was already something that was in the pipeline before Bob Iger made those statements. But some people might be wondering, like, okay, $209 million is like, that's obviously very high, but it's nothing unusual for Disney right now. But wait a minute, it gets way worse. The new report from Caroline Reed at Forbes reveals that Snow White production went under the codename Hidden Heart Productions Limited in the United Kingdom. According to Reed in the UK filings for the company, the Walt Disney Company had already spent $209.3 million as of July 31st, 2022. This is a year ago. A year ago, they spent around $210 million on this movie. On this movie right here, $210 million a year ago, and they still had a year of shooting and other stuff going on with it in post-production. However, she notes that the United Kingdom's government has granted Disney $41.1 million tax rebate, meaning that the net spend so far is at $168.2. Oh, okay, well, that's much better. I mean, only $168 million as of a year ago to make this stuff right here. Are they serious? No wonder they've been failing at the box office. I mean, why do you spend this? I mean, this looks like something you'd get out of a thrift store. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Who's laundering the money here? I mean, this can't be legit. The key thing to point out here is that these are just the costs through July 31st, 2022, and do not include any production costs incurred after that date. Ford rightfully notes it costs are likely to rise sharply as more than a year of post-production still had to be done after that date and after the date of the financial statements. It's not just post-production that will increase the cost though. We know from earlier this year, they were also doing pickup shots without Rachel Zegler. It's likely these production costs and any more they might have done in the past year will be included. Yeah, and these are from some of those pickup shots, so they're still shooting this movie. And it's not even that they're just doing pickup shots right now. There's actually a lot of stuff that they have to shoot with this. I got this other article pulled up talking about the controversy surrounding Rachel Zegler and the fact that they had to delay the release of this movie until March of next year. But scrolling down into this article, well, it's not been confirmed why, and that's talking about the delays of the release. It's almost definitely not related to the Rachel Zegler controversy. Well, yeah, of course they're going to say that. Sources told DisneyInsider.com that Snow White reboot is yet to be completed and reshoots still need to be done. They said the production, which kicked off in London in 2022, was put on pause due to the ongoing actors' strike. So they started production in 2022, and then 7 months into 2022, they spent around $210 million on this. It's right now, it's September of 23, and they're still shooting this, and to the point where they need the lead actress, and the strikes are going on, and it's preventing this sort of thing. I mean, that's not looking good for them. And in fact, that's why you get people speculating right here, reacting to this information. Financial and box office analyst Valiant Renegade wrote on X, Rachel Zegler's Snow White looks like it will have a production cost of $300 million. It's quite possible it could go even higher than $300 million given the production costs that were incurred over the past year, as well as any other post-production work the film will undergo. That's never mind the fact that this also has the marketing budget to it too. Just for comparison's sake, I looked at The Little Mermaid because that's another live-action remake of an animated classic Disney movie, and it came out this year. The 2023 remake of The Little Mermaid is estimated to have a cost around $250 million to make and $140 million for marketing. So that means The Little Mermaid, it was, what was it, 300? So yeah, $390 million is what they spent on this movie. Now I think it'd be fair to say, like, if they spent $140 million on this, then they'd probably spend $140 million. Let's just say $100 million. They were cheaping out for Snow White, so they spend $100 million to market that. So that means they have a cost of $400 million with the production and then the marketing. It's probably higher for marketing, but let's just give them that. That means they need to make $800 million in order to break even at the global box office. Looking over again at The Little Mermaid, this is what it was able to make. $569 million at the global box office. you see how this is not looking good for Snow White. I mean, yeah, this is a completely different movie, but I mean, if you're just looking at the patterns here, if this live action reimagining of Little Mermaid was only able to make this much money and it has a lower budget, then I mean, who's to say that Snow White's going to actually, I mean, do you think it's going to make $800 million? And keep in mind, that's just breaking even. That's just making their money back. Never mind the fact that like Disney isn't happy spending this much money on something just to not lose money. They want to actually make money. I mean, this probably hits like 900 or $1 billion. Disney is not going to be happy with this. But some people are going to point out like, oh, well, Little Mermaid made money, right? I mean, that's what I was read in other articles. Okay, first of all, articles that were saying that were basically either ignoring the marketing aspect of it or assuming that it's going to get a lot of money by home media sales and licensing it to streaming services. Never mind the fact that the numbers that they were trying to project for the home media sales are basically like record-setting DVD and Blu-ray sales. And Disney doesn't make money by streaming movies like The Little Mermaid because they own their own streaming site. You can't pay to stream it onto your own site or to license it on your own site. I mean, it might be one division of the company paying the other division of the company, but that's not Disney making money. That's just trying to cook the books in order to cover your losses. And that's really what happened with this one is like, okay, yeah, $250 million, $150 or $140 million budget or marketing push. So that means $390 million. So yeah, it needed to make around $800 million in order just to make its money back. And it fell well below that. And Snow White is spending even more than that on their movie. If you actually look at the numbers that have been reported so far. And there's been way more controversy surrounding that before the movie ever came out. Because I mean, at least with this one, the actress playing the character saying like she liked the character and she really identified with Ariel and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, great. People were not happy with the casting of her to try to just do an intentional race swapping, but at least she liked the character. Rachel Zegler, on the other hand, has basically gone on record saying that she didn't like the show or didn't like the movie. She didn't like the character. She said she saw it once as a kid, doesn't remember anything about it. And then she was also going on record basically saying like, oh yeah, I mean, it's a dated movie. It has very old sensibilities. We need to update it for modern audiences in the modern California of today. And yeah, I mean, it just turned off not only like the feminist audience that they're trying to pander to, but also just hardcore Disney fans are turning on this. I mean, no one wants to see this movie. I mean, I'm pretty certain that this new Snow White movie is probably going to be one of the biggest, if not biggest, box office bomb for Disney. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.